Hi, my name is Chris Ryan and thank you for joining me here at Las Colinas Golf and Country Club. This is the week of the first major. It's the US Masters at Augusta. And because of that, this week's videos have been following that theme. Today, we're going to be looking at the driver and how you can hit a really nice high right to left draw off the tee. So welcome to the absolutely stunning Las Colinas Golf Resort here in Spain. And it is, of course, this week, the US Masters, the first major of the year. Now, the golfer that comes out on top this week will no doubt at some point have had to hit quite a few shots that move right to left through the air. Certainly down 13, the par 5, and certainly down 10, that par 4 to start the back 9. Come Sunday afternoon, it's important that they can hit that ball in that right to left flight. Now, most of the field this week are right-handed golfers. So for those golfers, that is a draw shot. And many of you watching will really want to add that shot to your arsenal. It might be a shot that you're struggling with. It may well be that you just hit the ball on a left to right flight as it stands and you'd like to be able to have the option to move it right to left. The good news for you is there is only 3 things that need to happen down at impact and you can have that right to left flight. The first thing that has to happen is that you must be making contact out the center of your driver. Unfortunately, the way that the golf clubs are designed, bulge and roll and gear effect, if you miss the middle, all bets are off. We can't predict the ball flight. So I could well have a golf swing which would give my golf shot a draw flight, but if I hit it towards the heel, it could well fade. So we have to be hitting the center of the club. And what that really means for you is in practice, you must be monitoring your strike, either with face tape or with spray, so you can start to see what your patterns are. For the purpose of this video, we are going to assume that you're hitting it out the middle. I'm sure you are, every single time. So that's good news because it means that there's only 2 things left that we have to get right if we're to hit that right to left draw flight. So let's go through what those 2 things are. The first thing I need is I need a target. I need a point where I want my ball to end up. And we're going to pick the middle of this fairway down here. Now, the only 2 things I need to hit a draw is I need my club path to be out to the right of that target. But by how much is really going to depend on how much you need to move that ball in the air. But the club path needs to be out to the right-hand side of the target. There's our first thing. Our second thing is when we have that path, our club face needs to be positioned between that and our intended finish point. So somewhere between the 2. So effectively our club face is closed to our path, but actually open to our ultimate target. That relationship, that difference between the face and the path will give your golf ball its curve, provided, as I say, we hit the ball out the middle. So the theory is relatively simple. The act of actually doing it, obviously, is going to prove a little bit more tricky. And we're going to go through 2 ways I want you to work on this in your practice. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this tree line down the right-hand side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up and aim down that tree line. So you can see I'm aimed way right to the center of the fairway, up towards that bunker, maybe even a touch right to that. Now, because my body's aimed to the right, provided that I have a club path which is fairly neutral relative to my body aim, that will mean that my club path is now going to be up to the right of the fairway because that's where I've aimed. If I don't do anything with the club face should agree and I should hit a block up the right. So we now need to get the club face to point left of that. And there's 2 ways we want you to do this. The first one, which takes a bit of practice, would actually just be with skill. So if I was to set myself up here, I would feel very much like I was aiming up the right-hand side. And I would then just use my ability as the golfer just to deliver that club face with a slightly closed bias. That should create that little bit of curve back towards the fairway. As I say, that one takes a little bit more skill and it certainly takes a little bit more practice. The other option, which I would suggest you try first if you struggle drawing the golf ball, is once you've set yourself up that right, you're going to tweak the club face to point between where you've aimed and where you want it to finish, and you're then going to take your hold. So now when I look down, to me, that golf club looks closed, which is exactly what we need to have at impact relative to where I've aimed. So I've now preset the conditions that I would like at impact. I've preset the path by aiming to the right, and I've preset the closed face by tweaking the golf club before I applied my hold. So either of those 2 methods, done correctly, will give that ball its right to left flight. My advice will be to experiment with the 2. It may well be that your pretty skilled as a golfer, that you can actually just deliver that club face slightly closed and get that right to left shape. It may well be that you initially need to preset the club face a little bit closed. This does take practice. I would suggest, if you're not particularly good at drawing the golf ball, I would suggest trying to draw it a lot, just to get the feel. So aim way to the right, close the face a lot. Let's get that ball moving through the air. Once we feel comfortable moving the ball through the air, we can start to maybe tone it down a little bit, start to maybe put 5, 10, 15 yards of curve on it, as opposed to maybe 30 or 40. Make sure you watch the golfers this week. You will see them aiming away from the target. Aiming away from the target is a great indication that these golfers are attempting to put some amount of curve on the golf ball. These are obviously the elite. These are the top of the best. These are the best golfers in the world. They are fantastic at controlling the curve on the golf ball. If you can learn how to draw the golf ball, it does two things. It gives you options on the golf course that you maybe didn't have before, but for me, it also just helps your skill as a golfer. You start to really understand the relationship between the face and the path. You start to have the ability to control the face, open it, close it, change the path. It really opens, for me, a lot of doors, and it really helps you progress to the next level. Right, that is enough talking. Let's see if I can demonstrate what we might see this week at Augusta. Let's visualize I'm on the 13th. I need to hit that big, high draw, get a little bit of chase, and that's going to help me get on that par 5 in 2. Might help me pick up that green jacket. I wish. Right, let's have a go. Up the right, turning back. Okay, and that's absolutely perfect. It might actually just have overdrawn a little bit. It's just landed. It might have just crept into that bunker. I'm going to need to get down there and see. I pretty much did what I needed to do. It started where I wanted, it turned over. It might have just turned a little bit too much. But as I say, it takes a little bit of practice. Ensure you're hitting the ball out in the middle. Ensure that your path is to the right, your face is to the left, and I guarantee you'll see that ball moving right to left through the air. And when you get that invite for Augusta, you'll be able to hit those tee shots down 10 and 13, absolutely no problem. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Las Colinas for hosting me for a few days. I'm sure you'll agree, it's a fantastic golf course. I haven't had a chance to play it, unfortunately, too busy filming videos, but it does look fantastic. If you do get the chance to play, I would highly recommend it. The practice facilities are also fantastic. Usual stuff is down below. There's a link down there to subscribe. There's also a button over here which you can click. There's a comments box and there's also a like button. Also, let me know who do you think is going to come out on top this Sunday and take that green jacket. Love to hear your thoughts. Right, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you back here again soon.